Howdy-ho, everybody. I'm just going to take a few minutes to clear away the breakfast dishes and maybe poke some rats or something before I get started with the game today. See if we can get a few more people to collect. Good morning to all of you, and we will start in just a few minutes. Alright. Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today I will be playing more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney from the HD Trilogy remake. Let me get that screen up. There we are. More Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney from the HD Trilogy remake. It actually looks still quite nice on the television in front of me. I am hanging out here in the greater Boston area where in theory we have a hurricane right now. In practice I'm several miles inland, so it's just really kind of soppy. Not even really windy. I've actually got the window open so the rats can smell the rain. There is no rat cam today because I haven't set it up, and I haven't set it up because they have jammed themselves into a box with many, many shreds of paper and are not coming out. I had to poke their breakfast treats in through like a hole in the side of the pile. So they wouldn't be doing anything amusing even if you could see them. The little noses come out on occasion so that they can smell the rain. I don't blame them. I'm staying inside. This particular stream is, let's stay the fuck inside during the hurricane stream if you're up in New England with me. Apparently Nantucket is going to get super squishy, so if you're out on the Cape or on the coast, good luck. I hope you keep power for this entire playthrough. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Let's recap while I watch the game controller connect. Yes, no? Do I get my buttons back? Come on. Let's see. Last week, it was my birthday, and I decided to stream Ace Attorney, starting with the very, very first game. Phoenix defended his idiot childhood friend Larry of the charge of murdering his girlfriend of the week with a handcrafted replica of Rodin's The Thinker, into which Larry had inexplicably inserted a speaking clock. I guess it makes sense to Larry. A lot of things make sense to Larry. Since then, Phoenix has had, I think, maybe 2 months of rest. He came back to the office very late one night to find his boss, mentor, and honestly friend, Mia Fey, dead on the floor, next to a very upset teenage girl who turned out to be Mia's little sister, Maya. Maya was, of course, immediately arrested for the murder for a variety of reasons that are in the court record. I can recheck them and show you the evidence that we have. The case is being investigated by the aptly named but not very good at his job Detective Dick Gumshoe, who says that there is a decisive witness in the form of a very boobtacular pink-haired lady named April May, who apparently witnessed the crime from the window at the Gatewater Hotel next door. Gumshoe also told us that the man prosecuting this case is a man named Miles Edgeworth, which prompted an uncharacteristic outburst from Phoenix about the guy. He's apparently been in the newspaper as the demon prosecutor, willing to lie, cheat, steal, forge evidence, and intimidate witnesses, all in the interest of protecting his perfect win rankings in court. Phoenix doesn't seem to dislike that many people, and that was kind of a lot from him about somebody that we haven't seen in-game yet, although we are about to, because we are heading into day 1 of the trial, where Phoenix gets to defend Maya from a murder rap for the first time. You'll see. Anyway, if everyone is prepared, we can begin. September 7th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 1. Hubbub of the gallery. Oh, see, a second murder accusation against Maya. People who hang around Phoenix wind up wrapped up in murder cases kind of an awful lot. At some point, I'm pretty sure everyone he knows has been suspected of a murder except maybe the 8-year-old girl from Game 2. It's a lot. It's a lot. If you want to be friends with Phoenix, maybe get an outside attorney. Court is now in session for the trial of Ms. Maya Fey. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. This would be Miles Edgeworth. Yes, the suit is pink. No, he never really wears any other color. The frilly thing is called a jabot, and he always wears that too. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Miles Edgeworth. Better not show any signs of weakness today, or he'll be on me in an instant. Now, this is a little bit notable that Phoenix seems to know who Edgeworth is, considering that the tutorial trial we did last time was his very first trial ever. And it was actually against an underling in the prosecutor's office named Winston Payne, who really, really did wince in pain, because his case was terrible, and Phoenix is really good at just pulling solutions to murders out of his ass. Phoenix has an impulse control problem. It just usually works out well. Mr. Edgeworth, please give the court your opening statement. Thank you, Your Honor. The defendant, Ms. Maya Fey, was at the scene of the crime. The prosecution has evidence she committed this murder, and we have a witness who saw her do it. The prosecution sees no reason to doubt the facts of this case, Your Honor. I see. Yes, it is very like Murder, She Wrote. Slightly more plausible. Instead of happening in a small New England town, the localization is theoretically set in Los Angeles. I don't know how believable it is to be set in Los Angeles, considering Phoenix gets around on a bike, but the fans usually call the localization location sort of affectionately Japanifornia. Essentially, they needed a place for plot-relevant reasons that had earthquakes, and also plausibly would have a community of fairly traditional Japanese people somewhere within train distance. And, like, Maya, given the strange costume, obviously comes from a very traditional Japanese community, and, yeah, sure, there could be one of those up in the mountains of NoCal. There's a lot of weird people up there. Anyway, theoretically we're in Los Angeles right now, so, you know, a lot more murder is a lot more plausible, just Phoenix tends to be in the middle of it kind of a lot. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Let's begin then. If we may call our first witness, Your Honor. The prosecution calls the chief officer at the scene, Detective Gumshoe. Behold, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Witness, please state your name and profession to the court. Sir! My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm the detective in charge of homicides down at the precinct, sir. Gumshoe is like Edgeworth's most loyal lackey. I'm not entirely sure why at this point, because Edgeworth's rep is still kind of terrible, but Gumshoe really adores his boss and will do basically anything for the prosecutor. He's Edgeworth's pet detective, albeit kind of bad at his job. Also, that is probably the first and last time Edgeworth will successfully get anyone to state their name and profession on his first try. It's kind of a running joke. Detective Gumshoe, please describe for us the details of this murder. Very well, sir. Let me use this floor map of the office to explain. Actually, before we do this, I'm going to go into the options and fix the opacity on the text box and turn off the rumble on the controller, because it happens a lot. Gumshoe is very emphatic, and it drives me a little bit crazy. There we go. The body was found by this window here. And the cause of death? Loss of blood due to being struck by a blunt object, sir. The murder weapon was a statue of the Thinker found next to the body, sir. It was heavy enough to be a deadly weapon, even in a girl's hands, sir. The court accepts the statue as evidence. You're still calling it a statue. Floor plans added to the court record. Now, detective. Yes, sir? You immediately arrested Ms. Maya Fey, who was found at the scene, correct? Can you tell me why? Yes, sir! I had hard evidence she did it, sir. Detective Gumshoe, please testify to the court about this hard evidence. Now we enter into the cross-examination part of the testimony, where we actually get to ask Gumshoe if he knows what he's talking about. Spoiler, not really. As soon as the phone call came in, I rushed to the scene. There were two people there already. The defendant, Ms. Maya Fey, and the lawyer, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I immediately arrested Ms. Maya Fey. Why? We had a witness account describing her. The witness saw Ms. Maya Fey at the very moment of the murder. The very moment, you say? Oh, very well. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Cross-examine what? Couldn't see a single contradiction in that testimony. Hey, Maya just threw something at me. What's this? When my sister couldn't find any contradictions in a witness's testimony, she would bluff it and press the witness on every detail. The witness always slips up and says something wrong. It worked lots of times. Should have expected Maya would know some of her sister's tricks. Alright, let's give this a try. Something the matter? No, Your Honor. I'd like to begin my cross-examination. Alright, I'm doing a slightly abbreviated playthrough. I'm just going to press and present the relevant stuff in this particular game, unless there's something super funny, which occasionally there is, and I remember where most of it goes. Let's see. As soon as the phone call came in, I rushed to the scene. There were two people there already, the defendant, Ms. Maya Fey, and the lawyer, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I immediately arrested Ms. Maya Fey. Why? We had a witness account describing her. Hold on just 1 second. Yeah? If I heard correctly, you said you arrested her because you had hard evidence she did it, correct? Eh? Did I say that? Me? Screen is freezing every few seconds, it's not skipping. I have no idea what's going on your end. I went in and adjusted the stream settings, and I did a network test before I came on today, and it is going out, everything's in the green right now. Like, the bitrate is maxed out at about 4 kbps, and it's only streaming at, like, yeah. Click, click. Hang on. OBS has a lot of screens to get through. Yeah, it's streaming at 4000 kbps max, and right now we're hitting about 2000 kbps, so it's going out to Twitch correctly. Whatever's an issue is on either Twitch's end or your end. Have absolutely no idea what's going on, unfortunately. Sorry. Gumshoe, did I say that? Me? I heard you say it. You did say it. You said it. Exactly what about this suspicious woman in Pink's claim was hard evidence? What? Miss May isn't suspicious, and she sure isn't Pink, pal. Well, I guess she is Pink. That's enough, Detective Gumshoe. Do you have any more solid proof other than her claims, Detective? I guess pressing can have its advantages. Yes. Sorry, I got the order of things mixed up in my testimony, Your Honor, sir. There was something I should have told you about first, Your Honor. Very well, Detective. Let's hear your testimony again. Hard evidence. Alright. After securing the suspect, I examined the scene of the crime with my own eyes. I found a memo written on a piece of paper next to the victim's body. On it, the word Maya was written clearly in blood. Lab test results showed that the blood was the victim's. Also, there was blood found on the victim's finger. Before she died, the victim wrote the killer's name. How do you like that? That's my hard evidence. Before we begin cross-examination, I have a question for you, Detective. Your Honor? Why didn't you testify about this vital piece of evidence the first time? No, I'm real embarrassed I forgot about it, Your Honor, sir. Try to be more careful. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. Let's see. Found a memo written on a piece of paper. On it the word Maya was written. Lab test results showed the blood was the victim's. Blood found on the victim's finger. Before she died, the victim wrote the killer's name. No, she didn't. We did get an autopsy report. Time of death, 9/5 at 9 p.m. Cause, single blunt force trauma. Death was instantaneous. Detective Gumshoe, there's one thing I want you to clarify for me here. You say that the victim, Mia Fey, wrote this note. That she was accusing the defendant, Maya Fey? That's really what you're saying? What? This isn't one of those lawyer tricks now, is it? Of course she wrote it! Who else could have? You have it backwards, Detective. Backwards? The victim is the only person who absolutely could not have written it. This is a report from your department, Detective. Immediate death due to a blow from a blunt object. She died immediately. But no butting your way out of this one, Detective. Order! Order! The defense has a point. Someone who died immediately wouldn't have had the time to write anything down. Mr. Wright, I beg your pardon, but when exactly did you obtain that autopsy report? When? That is right, the day after the murder. We came back to the office and Gumshoe spilled all the beans. It was the day after the murder. The prosecution's point being... That autopsy report is outdated, Your Honor. What? A second autopsy was performed yesterday at my request. Death was almost immediate due to a blow from a blunt object. But there is a possibility the victim lived for several minutes after the blow. I received these results this morning. No way! Your Honor, it's quite easy to imagine that the victim did have time to write Maya. That is all. See? Anyway, Edgeworth, should have known you'd have something up your sleeve. Why, Mr. Wright, you look shocked. Something you want to say? I don't know, is there something we want to say? Let's blame the detective. He probably deserves it. Detective Gumshoe, you're a sham. How could you give me a faulty report? Detective Gumshoe. Oh. I'm disappointed in you handing him the wrong report like that. I'm sorry, sir. You are at fault, Detective. This isn't going to look good on your evaluation next month. What? But... Your Honor, I submit this report to the court. Understood. The court accepts the evidence. Autopsy report updated. Well, Your Honor, the evidence strongly suggests the victim was identifying the killer. Suppose that's the obvious conclusion, yes. This is good. The prosecution would like to call its next witness. This poor, innocent girl saw the murder with her own eyes. Let the witness, Miss April May, take the stand. Exactly what part of her is innocent? Witness, your name, please. April May, at your service. Order! An introduction should not require any reaction from the crowd. The witness will refrain from wanton winking. Oh, yes, Your Honor. Oh, this is not good. She's already captured the heart of every man in this courtroom. Most of the men in the courtroom. The judge is susceptible to basically anything. He's, not an idiot exactly, but very gullible. She clearly also hasn't gotten Phoenix. She had him on the back foot earlier when they were talking in the hotel, but he's not charmed, and, as you will notice through the course of the series, Edgeworth is basically a brick wall to this kind of manipulation. In-universe, he is stated to be considered very attractive, and women do flirt with him kind of a lot. Mostly he's oblivious to it. If it gets obnoxious enough that he's forced to notice, then he gets really pissed at the manipulation. So, yeah, it doesn't work on Edgeworth. He's just kind of not that people-oriented in general, and definitely not that interested in girls. Tell us, where were you on the night of September 5th when the murder occurred?
Gee, I was, like, in my hotel room? I checked in right after lunch.
And this hotel is directly across from the Fay and Company law offices.
That's right, big boy.
Please testify to the court about what you saw. Witness account.
It was, like, 9 at night. I looked out the window, you know? And then I saw a woman with long hair being attacked. The one attacking her was the mousy girl sitting in the defendant's chair. Then the woman, like, dodged to one side and ran away. But that girl, she caught up to her and she hit her. Then the woman with the long hair, she kind of slumped. The end. And that's all I saw. Every little bitsy bitsy.
Well, Your Honor, I see. It is a remarkably solid testimony. I don't see a need to trouble the witness any... What? Wait! Wait, Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Wright? What about my cross-examination? I thought the witness's testimony just now was quite... firm, didn't you? Mr. Wright, I understand you were Miss Mia Fey's understudy, were you not? You must know her techniques well. A cowardly way of finding tiny faults in perfectly good testimonies. Hey! How dare you? Well, Mr. Wright, will you cross-examine the witness? Yes, I'm doing it. See, this is always the answer. If anyone asks Phoenix whether he wants to cross-examine someone, the answer is always yes, no matter how completely random or unorthodox a witness it might be. If somebody gives you the chance to question somebody, you question them right now. I'll gladly proceed with the cross-examination. Only because I have a feeling Edgeworth doesn't want me to. He has to have some weakness. Very well, you may begin your cross-examination. Let's see. I've got the window, so with long hair being attacked. The mousy girl in the defendant's chair. But that girl, she caught up to her and she hit her. Oh, how did you know it was my client?
Huh? Well, gee. First of all, she had a girl's physique. And secondly, she was small. Who else could it be but her?
She has a point. I mean, no, she kind of doesn't. I question your testimony. Hold on a minute. That testimony stinks.
What?
Miss May, I'm willing to bet that you're lying. Are you telling the truth? Did you really see the defendant? Mr. Wright, what's the meaning of this?
Yes, what is the meaning? Somebody tell me, because I'm clueless. About this, I mean.
Okay. If you had really witnessed my client, Maya Fey, you would have noticed her clothes before noticing her physique. No one wears clothes like this on a daily basis, except her! And I'm no expert on fashion, but her hairdo looks far from normal to me. However, the witness's testimony mentions neither of these things. The testimony is bogus. But still, we don't know if she was dressed that way the night of the murder. She was, Your Honor. I saw her. And so did Detective Gumshoe. What do you say to that, Miss May?
Arrgh! What are you trying to say, you mean lawyer? I saw what I saw. I didn't think all the trifling little details were necessary, darling.
Miss May, the court would like to remind you to please omit nothing in your testimony.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'll be a good girl. I promise.
Your testimony again, if you would. I almost had it. Alright.
I did see everything. I did. The victim, the woman, dodged the first attack and ran off to the right. Then the girl in the hippie clothes ran after her. And she hit her with that weapon. I saw it. I did. That clock. The kind of statuey clock. The thinker, I think. Well, does the accuracy of my report not startle you?
I see. I only wish you'd been so detailed from the beginning. Please begin the cross-examination. Anyone care to guess where the contradiction is? Miss May, what you said just now was quite revealing.
Revealing? Ooh, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Naughty Mr. Lawyer.
You just said that this statue of the thinker was a clock. But there's no way of knowing that just by looking at it. Another person in much the same position as you recently called this a clock too, and he was found guilty of murder. Order! Order! Miss May, can you explain how you know this was a clock? Ooh! The witness saw the murder with her own eyes. That's all that's important here. The defense is trying to confuse the issue with trivial concerns. Yes, of course. You will withdraw your question, Mr. Wright. Objection. No, I won't. But questions are all I have, Your Honor. And as you may recall, I've caught murderers with these questions before. Well, only once. Objection sustained. You may continue to question the witness. If he stopped me there, the trial would be over.
Huh?
What? So, what happens now? What happens now is you answer my question. How did you know it was a clock?
It's because I heard it? Yes, I heard it say the time.
So you've been to the law offices of Fay and Company?
No! Hey, I didn't say that. Why would I go there? I heard it from my hotel room.
The law offices of Fay and Company, where the murder took place, is very close to the hotel. So you could easily have heard the clock. Well, Mr. Wright, are you satisfied? Nope. No, Your Honor. Give up now. I'm not satisfied because... Couldn't have rung. Your Honor, members of the court, it is inconceivable that the clock in question rang. It's empty. That clock is missing its clockwork. How could you possibly? Just take a look, right now. Oh. See anything interesting, Your Honor? It is as the defense says. This clock is missing its clockwork. It's quite empty. Mr. Wright, would you care to explain to the court the meaning of this? It is as you can see. The clock was empty. It couldn't have rung. Therefore, this witness is a big fat liar. Fat! Well, Miss May? Eh? Quite a show you've put on for us, Mr. Wright. The clock was empty. Somehow he knew. I'm afraid you've forgotten one thing, however. Indeed, the clock is empty, as you say. It can't ring. However, we must ask, when was the clockwork removed? If it was after the witness heard the clock, then there's no contradiction. That's true. That's a possibility. The clock might have been emptied after she heard it. And that is exactly what happened, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Wright, can you prove when the clockwork was removed? Oh, impossible, of course. I have proof. What? Wasn't it you who told me proof is everything? Well, I was listening. And now I'll show you the proof you like so much. The evidence that proved when the clockwork was removed is... Take a look at this. That's a very cute cell phone. Ooh, you have a girly phone. Wait, this isn't my phone. But listen! This is the defendant's cell phone, and it contains a recording. A recording of a conversation she had with the victim on the day of the murder. Order! Order! The defendant's cell phone. This wasn't brought to my attention. Perhaps Detective Gumshoe overlooked it? The detective better remember. He's up for evaluation soon. I say, I'm starting to feel bad for the big fella. Let's hear the conversation. So you just want me to hold on to the thinker for you, then? If you could. I should probably tell you, the clock isn't talking right now. Huh? It's not working? Well, that's lame. I had to take the clockwork out. Sorry. September 5th, 9:27 a.m. Your Honor, I think this makes it clear the clockwork was already gone by the time this was recorded, which was well before the witness even arrived at her hotel. Well, Miss May, would you care to explain this to the court? Just how did you know that weapon was a clock? Well, isn't it obvious? I saw that clock before. What store was that again? I go to so many. Whoops, I forgot. So the witness had seen it before. That would make sense. Does the defense have any objections, Mr. Wright? Yes. The witness claims she had seen it before, but this directly contradicts a piece of evidence already submitted to the court. Well then, let's see it. Please produce this evidence that will prove the witness had not seen the clock before. It's simple. This clock was never in any store, ever. What? A friend of mine made that clock. Only two exist in the world, and the one that isn't here is in police custody. Possible! This thing is sold in stores. Miss May, I think it's high time you went shopping for a better excuse. Oh? Excuses not on sale today? Ooh. Oof. What's it to you, porcupine head? That stupid clock doesn't matter, okay? She did it, and she should die for it. Die! Whoa! Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is a court of law, and the witness will remain calm. Oh? Oh! Oh! Silly me! Did I, like, lose it?
I guess I did.
Scary. Miss May, let me ask. Tell me, how did you know the weapon was a clock? Oh dear. Does the defense have an opinion on this, behavior? Okay, this is it. Yes, Your Honor. Allow me to explain how I see the truth of the matter. Miss April May, you knew the weapon was a clock because you had heard about it. The witness had never held the clock in her hand. However, she had heard that it was a clock. She heard? That is correct, Your Honor. There's no other way she could have known the thinker was a clock. And I can show you the proof. Well, this is interesting. Let's see it then. Show me evidence proving that the witness had heard the murder weapon was a clock. Have a look at this. I found this in Miss May's room. Mr. Wright, please explain to the court what this is. Miss April May, you were tapping the victim, Ms. Mia Fey's phone, were you not? Ooh! Your Honor, this is irrelevant. I'm not entirely sure that it is. Objection overruled. It troubles me that our witness was in possession of a wiretap. This is outrageous! Does the defense truly claim the witness was tapping her phone? Absolutely! Even if that was the case, which it's not, you still have to prove one thing. Did the victim ever say that weapon was a clock on the phone? Can you prove that? I think not. Oh yeah? I think I can. It's simple. What? Here's my proof. The proof that the victim said, on the phone, if the weapon was a clock, I present the defendant's cell phone. Yes, we've seen that. Listen once more to the conversation between the defendant and the victim.
Mia, what's up? You haven't called in a while.
Well, actually, there's something I want you to hold on to for me.
Again? What's it this time?
It's a clock. It's made to look at that statue, the thinker, and it tells you the time. Miss April May, you used a wiretap to listen to this conversation. That's how you knew the thinker was a clock. Am I wrong? Your Honor, this is ridiculous. Your Honor, look at the witness's face. Does she seem amused to you? The defense demands an answer. Witness, answer the question. Did you tap her phone? Miss May. Shut up, all of you. What gives you the right to talk to me like that? You liar!
It's not fair. All of you ganging up on me like that. Oh, so I'm the bad girl. Is that it? Is that it?
Well, that did it. The court's seen the real Miss April May now. Now to deal the final blow. Miss May.
What is it, you little shrimp? Talk to me in that tone of voice, will you?
You killed her, didn't you? Order, there will be order.
What? How can you possibly say that? Are you mad? All I did was a little wiretapping. Oops.
So you admit you tapped her phone.
But wait! I didn't do anything bad like murder. I'm a good girl.
Really? Can you prove it? No way can she prove it.
You think you're so smart, Mr. Lawyer. But I can prove it, and I will.
You can't be serious.
No way. Way, I say. Way, oh, and I assure you I'm serious, Mr. Lawyer. Okay? So the killing happened around 9 at night. Why, that's just when I was getting room service from that sweet bellboy.
Room service?
Iced coffee, I believe it was. Iced coffee? You know, like normal coffee, but cold. If you don't drink it quick, the ice melts, and then you have, well, regular cold coffee.
Iced coffee?
Think I'm making this up? Just the bellboy.
Ergo, the witness was not on the scene at the time of the murder. So where does that leave us? It is my great displeasure to inform you that the witness appears to have been tapping the victim's telephone. However, that is a separate crime with no bearing on the current case whatsoever. Her testimony stands. She saw the defendant, Maya Fey, commit murder. No, they're gonna let her just walk away. There's no way I can win this unless I tie Miss May to the murder somehow. Well, does the defense have anything to say? Well, I'm thinking something. Call the bellboy as a witness. The defense would like to call the hotel bellboy as a witness. There's something suspicious here, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of it.
I think you've sunken quite low enough already.
I object to calling the bellboy. Why? What's your reason? Because I hold that the wiretapping had nothing to do with the killing. However, if you agree to one condition, I'll consent to calling this witness. Condition? If Miss April May's alibi is not called into question after you examine the bellboy, then you will recognize that Miss April May was not the killer, thus she is innocent. And thereby you must also accept the verdict of guilty from Miss Maya Fey. That is my condition. What? I better find something suspicious in that bellboy's testimony. Otherwise Maya will be declared guilty on the spot. What should I do? Alright, nothing to lose. Except for, well, everything. Understood. I accept your condition. You fell right into my trap. Uh-oh. Wait. Very well. The court calls the hotel bellboy to the stand. I believe we are ready for the witness to testify. He certainly does look like a bellboy.
Yes, sir. I received your summons in the middle of work, sir. I'm happy to be of service.
That tea set looks rather heavy, so without further ado, the witness may begin his testimony. Very good, sir. Miss May's room service. I am the head bellboy at the fine Gatewater Hotel, in business for 4 generations. I believe I received a call after 8 in the evening from our guest, Miss May. She asked for an iced coffee to be brought to her at 9 p.m. on the dot, sir. I brought it to her at precisely the requested time, of course. And I delivered the iced coffee to our guest, Miss May, herself. I see. The defense may begin its cross-examination. Right! I'm ready, I hope. This is it. If I can't prove Miss May was involved in the murder now, Maya will be... Precisely 9, then? Precisely, exactly, and most definitely, sir. 9 p.m. How can you be so sure? Miss May was quite insistent that it be brought then. Oh, bellboy, tee-hee, I'd like, iced coffee at exactly 9. Something like that, sir. Therefore, I knocked on her door at the crack of 9, sir. Why would she be so particular about the time? And I delivered the iced coffee to our guest, Miss May, herself. Are you sure it was Miss April May herself? Absolutely, sir. Absolutely? Yes, sir. As in, so very absolutely, sir. It's an endearing mannerism of mine. How come you're so very certain? Well, when I brought the room service, sir, the guest, sir, favored me with an embrasse, sir. Embrasse? Is that French for embrace? It's French for kiss, sir. But not a French kiss, sir. More of a peck on the cheek. Why would she have done that? I believe perhaps she was momentarily swayed by my prim demeanor, sir. It was a moment I shall never ever forget, sir. Sounds pretty fishy to me. I think our Miss May was up to something and wanted the bellboy to remember her. Ah, it's no good. There's nothing there. Is that it? Finally, you understand. This bellboy has absolutely no reason to lie. Now, if you have any decency, you will end this rather tedious cross-examination here. It was a bit tedious. The witness may leave the stand. Can't let this happen, can I? Nope. Wait! Please wait! Yes? Does the defense have something to add? One last question. Let me ask one last question. Your Honor, I must object. This charade of justice has gone on long enough. Now, Mr. Edgeworth. All right, Mr. Wright. I'll give you one more question, that's all. Okay. This is really it now. This is my last chance. What do I ask him about? Check-in. To tell me about check-in. Tell me about when you checked in, Miss May. Oh, all right. Very well, sir. My first thought was that she was a beautiful, beautiful person. She's just my type of girl, so it was a disappointment, really. I see. What? Excuse me. What exactly was a disappointment? Well, I'm not without charm, sir, but even I'd have a little chance with her lover there. Huh? What did he say? What did you say? Rather. Right. Bellboy, tell us the truth now. Did Miss May check in with another person? I object. That was objectionable. This is the first crack you see in Edgeworth dealing with Phoenix. Phoenix's habit of just kind of slapping around and blurting out the first thing that comes to mind in any given stressful situation really aggravates him, because Edgeworth goes into trial with a plan. A really detailed plan. You saw it a little bit earlier when he discovered about the wiretap that April May hadn't told him about. He bases his case on the information he gets from these witnesses, and the one thing he hates worse than the thought of losing is being lied to. Because if you base your case on incorrect information, your case falls apart in court. This is like his worst nightmare, and this grinning idiot rookie defense attorney is making it all happen. So, yeah, he objects and doesn't really know why, he just knows that he should probably object here. Objection overruled. The witness will answer the question.
Oh yes, I see.
Why did you not mention this in your testimony?
Well, sir, you didn't ask.
Nice try. That's the sort of thing you're normally supposed to mention.
Yes, quite, indeed. It was the good barrister there, Mr. Edgeworth, who,
Eh?
he asked me not to mention it if I, wasn't specifically asked, sir.
You fool! Oh, I've done it. I've won! Miss April May checked into a twin room with a man. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Then when you brought them room service, you didn't see that man in the room?
That's right, sir.
Your Honor, we have just learned of another person involved who may have been the murderer. In light of this new fact, I hold that it's impossible to judge the defendant. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Edgeworth? And who, Mr. Wright? Who is this other person? Simple. It was, the man with Miss May. The man who checked in with Miss May. Your Honor, as has been previously revealed, Miss April May was tapping the victim's phone. Yet Miss May herself has an alibi at the time of the murder. However, that does not clear the man that was with her. The bellboy saw no one else in the room at the time of the murder. My, what a convenient little setup, but it's too late. Too late? Suppose you'd like it if it was too late, wouldn't you? After all, it was you who hid the presence of the other man from this court. Start. Amateur. These accusations are ludicrous. Enough! Court acknowledges the defense's argument. I expect the prosecution and defense to look into this matter fully. Am I understood? Yes. Yes, Your Honor. That is all today for the trial of my affair. Court is adjourned. September 7th, 2:24 p.m., District Court Defendant Lobby, number 1.
Mr. Wright! You were amazing in there!
Really?
I think I might be your newest fan!
I was just doing my job, you know, Then again, that other attorney was pretty cool too. Huh? That face of his, and with his eyes wide and trembling lips,
It sent shivers up my spine.
if you say so.
So what happens with me? Do I get to go home now?
Well... No, I don't think so. Not yet. Oh, I see. But I got a great lead in today's trial. A lead?
That man with Miss May, he's the key. Oh, I get it. What happened to Miss May after that anyway?
I heard they arrested her. I guess she's learning her charms won't work everywhere. She's probably at the detention center now. I may have to go down there later. Anyway, this case is far from closed.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to find out more about this man. Do you think he was the one who... Maybe so?
Sis.
Don't worry. I'll find him by tomorrow, I promise.
I'm counting on you.
I asked for a full record of April May's testimony. I thought it might come in handy during the trial tomorrow. But now that I have it, I'm not so sure. Most of her testimony was all lies, so in fact, there's only one part that hasn't been stricken from the record. I don't know how much good this will do me at all now. Anyway, time to hit the pavement and do some investigating. Maya doesn't belong in that detention center, and it's up to me to set her free. Alright, and so endeth day one of Maya's trial. So, at this point, we're really just getting started with the setup for the game. This first Phoenix Wright game is pretty self-contained. Like, you could theoretically play the first one and never play any of the other ones, and it would be its own story. Maya is still calling him Mr. Wright at this point. She doesn't keep that up very long. In Japanese, she and her sister both call him Naruhodo-kun. If you missed last week, I go through a bunch of linguistic stuff every time I play these games because I've played good chunks of them in Japanese, and while my Japanese is still not all that great, there's still some pretty interesting stuff to take note of. In Japanese, Phoenix Wright's name is Naruhodo Ryuichi. Naruhodo is a play, with a long O at the end, is a play on Naruhodo, a phrase that means kind of I see, I got it. And a lot of characters note this in-game. He's a little bit sick of it. It's like the right puns in English. But Mia, his boss, actually calls him Naruhodo-kun in Japanese. Her name is both of the sisters' names in Japanese are Ayasato, which is another very old name, except instead of the samurai flavor of Mitsurugi, you get like Temple Maiden, Shinto Shrine Maiden. Ayasato is the kind of thing you'd find one of them named. And Mia's given name in Japanese is Chihiro. It's a reasonably common girl's name. You might have run into it if you've seen Senta Chihiro Kamikakushita, which is released in English as Spirited Away. She spells it in a non-standard way, though. The two characters in her name actually say 1,000 questions, which is, the kind of thing a lawyer should be named, I'd think. The character for question is also the first one in the phrase that means to cross-examine. So, Maya's name in Japanese is Mayoi. She spells it the regular way, but it sounds just like an adjective that means spooky or mysterious. It's a reference to her talking about all the spirit